Mobile ready. Engage with ease. Access Orizon. Anytime, anywhere. Discover more today. Orizon.vip.
Introducing the Orizon Protocol. Orizon Defai. Decentralized finance, artificial intelligence. Global fair launch. Orizon LP locked forever. Bonds bound to 365-day structural contract. No pre-allocation, no VC involvement, no central authority. Here, rules are enforced by structure, and wealth is created by consensus. Orizon, decentralized AI yield, real revenue, true utility.
Welcome to Orizon Defai.
I like to know more about Ori.
Sure. Let's break it down. Orizon Defai is a smarter, stronger and AI-powered DeFi protocol designed for long-term sustainability. Not quick hype. First up, no withdrawal limits. Your money, your rules. Withdraw whenever you like, no hooks, no headaches. Next, no liquidity risk. All funds are locked forever. No one can touch it. We're certified. Our code is vetted by the top blockchain security experts, so you know you're safe. Immutable and transparent, everything's on-chain. What you see is what you get, no BS here. Earn daily rewards, yes, daily returns. Auto-compound those gains and watch your earnings multiply, up to 15x growth in a year. Join a community that rewards long-term commitment. Loyalty matters, and we appreciate yours. Orizon Defai isn't a pump and dump. It's a protocol with purpose, sustainability, and a future you can count on.
What is a minting issuance token? What if money was created only when value was created? Imagine a city that prints money only when new roads, buildings, or businesses are built. That money represents growth, not inflation. That's the idea behind a minting issuance token. Instead of minting all tokens up front, new tokens are created over time, when the system grows. In Orizon, the token ORI works this way. There's no max supply, but new ORI can only be minted through protocol activity, like staking, treasury growth, and AI-powered value creation. So supply grows with productivity, not hype, not speculation, just growth.
Tanzania, are you ready? Let's go, guys. Let's go, guys.
Strong and true. Orizon is here for me and you. Na 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 na
To you guys that are sincere and straightforward, I don't just act like I know everything.
The best of the best.
There was a time when a protocol challenged the entire financial narrative. In 2021, Olympus DAO sparked the first true experiment in on-chain money. A single piece of code that built a treasury from nothing and governed a currency through pure consensus. Over $4 billion in TVL, more than 160,000 participating addresses. A POL model that became a DeFi industry standard. Hundreds of forked projects inspired. It rose to incredible heights, and it fell into deep valleys. But a great protocol never dies by price. It waits for a more complete form, for the right moment to awaken. A new horizon. Orizon Defai has arrived. The rise of DeFi. Decentralized finance plus artificial intelligence. With a better protocol, a greater vision, and a real community to build. The world's first protocol, where AI productivity fuels DeFi. Orizon Defai begins. Discover more today, Orizon.vip.
What you need to stake in Orizon Defai. You can use a phone or tablet or laptop or PC. You need internet connection to access to Orizon Defai DApp. You can use any crypto wallet like MetaMask, Trust, TP, or other wallets. Lastly, and some USDT to swap into Ori. Now you can access to Orizon.vip and stake.
Welcome to Orizon Defai Protocol. Streamlined experience built. Comprehensive information at your fingertips. Mobile ready. Engage with ease. Access Orizon. Anytime, anywhere. Discover more today. Orizon.vip.
Introducing the Orizon Protocol. Orizon Defai. Decentralized finance, artificial intelligence. Global fair launch. Orizon LP locked forever. Bonds bound to 365 days structural. No pre-allocation, no VC involvement, no central authority.
In 2021, Olympus DAO sparked the first true experiment in on-chain money. A single piece of code that built a treasury from nothing and governed a currency through pure consensus. Over $4 billion in TVL, more than 160,000 participating addresses. A POL model that became a DeFi industry standard. Hundreds of forked projects inspired. It rose to incredible heights, and it fell into deep valleys. But a great protocol never dies by price. It waits for a more complete form, for the right moment to awaken. A new horizon. Orizon Defai has arrived. The rise of DeFi. Decentralized finance plus artificial intelligence. With a better protocol, a greater vision, and a real community to build. The world's first protocol, where AI productivity fuels DeFi. Orizon Defai begins. Discover more today, Orizon.vip.
What you need to stake in Orizon Defai. You can use a phone or tablet or laptop or PC. You need internet connection to access to Orizon Defai DApp. You can use any crypto wallet like MetaMask, Trust, TP, or other wallets. Lastly, and some USDT to swap into Ori. Now you can access to Orizon.vip and stake.
Welcome to Orizon Defai Protocol. Streamlined experience built. Comprehensive information at your fingertips. Mobile ready. Engage with ease. Access Orizon. Anytime, anywhere. Discover more today. Orizon.vip.
Introducing the Orizon Protocol. Orizon Defai. Decentralized finance, artificial intelligence. Global fair launch. Orizon LP locked forever. Bonds bound to 365 days structural. No pre-allocation, no VC involvement, no central authority. Here, rules are enforced by structure, and wealth is created by consensus. Orizon, decentralized AI yield, real revenue, true utility.
Welcome to Orizon Defai.
I'd like to know more about Ori.
Sure. Let's break it down. Orizon Defai is a smarter, stronger and AI-powered DeFi protocol designed for long-term sustainability. Not quick hype. First up, no withdrawal limits. Your money, your rules. Withdraw whenever you like, no hooks, no headaches. Next, no liquidity risk. All funds are locked forever. No one can touch it. We're certified. Our code is vetted by the top blockchain security experts, so you know you're safe. Immutable and transparent, everything's on chain. What you see is what you get, no BS here. Earn daily rewards, yes, daily returns. Auto compound those gains and watch your earnings multiply, up to 15x growth in a year. Join a community that rewards long-term commitment. Loyalty matters, and we appreciate yours. Orizon Defai isn't a pump and dump. It's a protocol with purpose, sustainability, and a future you can count on.
What is a minting issuance token? What if money was created only when value was created? Imagine a city that prints money only when new roads, buildings, or businesses are built. That money represents growth, not inflation. That's the idea behind a minting issuance token. Instead of minting all tokens up front, new tokens are created over time, when the system grows. In Orizon, the token ORI works this way. There's no max supply, but new ORI can only be minted through protocol activity, like staking, treasury growth, and AI-powered value creation. So supply grows with productivity, not hype, not speculation, just growth.
No limits, just rise. Together we shine.
Tanzania, you ready? Let's go, guys. Let's go, guys.
Strong and true. Orizon is here for me and you. Na 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 na.
To you guys that are sincere and straightforward, I don't just act like I know everything.
The best of the best. Get up and start.
Na 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 na.
There was a time when a protocol challenged the entire financial narrative. In 2021, Olympus DAO sparked the first true experiment in on-chain money. A single piece of code that built a treasury from nothing and governed a currency through pure consensus. Over $4 billion in TVL, more than 160,000 participating addresses. A POL model that became a DeFi industry standard. Hundreds of forked projects inspired. It rose to incredible heights, and it fell into deep valleys. But a great protocol never dies by price. It waits for a more complete form, for the right moment to awaken. A new horizon. Orizon Defai has arrived. The rise of DeFi. Decentralized finance plus artificial intelligence. With a better protocol, a greater vision, and a real community to build. The world's first protocol, where AI productivity fuels DeFi. Orizon Defai begins. Discover more today, Orizon.vip.
What you need to stake in Orizon Defai. You can use a phone or tablet or laptop or PC. You need internet connection to access to Orizon Defai DApp.
All right. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Please, if you can hear me, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Paula, all the way from Kenya. I'm so excited today to welcome you on our call because today's call is going to be one of the best because we are learning about the blockchain, guys. So if you can hear me loud and clear, just go to your chat box, put 111 in order for me to be able to bring forth the host of the day. Kindly, if you can hear me loud and clear, just go to chat box, put 111. And again, if you have some family and friends that have not joined our call today, just invite them because you are on the right time, guys. So just go to your chat box, put 111. I want to see if you're excited like me. If you're excited like me, I would like to acknowledge you. I can see Gibson is ready, Fidelis, William. Thank you so much. From Nigeria. Nigeria people are so ready. I can see Shadrach Ibet, can see many people are so excited this morning, this evening, guys. So without wasting time, I would like to take this special moment to welcome none other but our top leader from Ghana. If Mr. Imano, you're here and you can hear me loud and clear, the floor is yours. Just take us through. We are ready for you. We can't wait to start our call of the day. So, Imano, if you can hear me, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you,
Mr. Imano?
Paula. Thank you, Paula, for uh, always being here. It's amazing to hear from you every single time. Paula is here to let us know about the current agenda of this Zoom. Last Saturday, I told you not to even leave your enemies. Let them also be part of this Zoom so that they understand the blockchain. Okay, today we are going deep into the blockchain. All right. So for me to actually let you know before I invite Mr. Brian to come in, many people actually when they start to make big money, first thing that comes into their mind, they buy their car, they buy their houses and everything. Once they buy a big car, they are going to their village or their town or anything. What do? They normally park their cars um somewhere, then they walk there. Why? Because they are afraid of village witches. All right. Because many people are afraid of that. They park their car and they walk there so that they don't have targets from those village witches they actually talk of. But let me ask you one thing. Okay. Let me ask you one thing. The reason that we need to learn about the blockchain is really very important. Let me ask you this question. Have you ever seen any village witch in the blockchain to actually stop your progress? None. No village which is actually is on a blockchain. So imagine you are making money from the blockchain itself. You are making like 100,000, 200,000, $300,000 every single month from the blockchain. Which village which can stop you from achieving your success or becoming a millionaire? All right. So I tell you, this is what we need in Africa because this is a way we can actually move and actually create generational wealth for our families and friends. Okay, and this is very important. That is why I tell you, if right now, even on this Zoom, your enemies are not here, please invite them. They will benefit too. They will really benefit. So let's focus on the blockchain. Let's learn the blockchain. Let's master the blockchain. Horizon is not about just APY, you make 14 times, 12 times, and all those things. But this is actually lesson given to the given by the developers team because this is a real opportunity. That is why they have the time to even tell you more about the blockchain. And also you need to understand the people who are sharing everything to you are millionaires and multi-millionaires. They have been in the industry for so long and they have learned a lot also that you can benefit from. So this training alone will make you actually move from A to Z in terms of blockchain. If you don't have a degree in blockchain or crypto, trust me, after this course, you are going to master, you are going to know a lot when it comes to the blockchain environment. So pay attention if possible. I know you are home or you are somewhere or anything, but keep note of everything that is shared here because it can change your life. Through blockchain, I can tell you, through Horizon, we have people who are making thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, $50,000 and stuff. And I'm here to tell you that they are making it from the blockchain, which no village witches can ever enter into their token pocket, MetaMask, and then actually take away their money. Nobody can enter because they don't even have their seed phrase. How would they enter into their wallet? So let's focus. Let's make it with this opportunity. Let's focus and learn about the blockchain so that at the end of the day, we can make money and nobody can pull us down. Nobody can stop us from making the millions of dollars from the blockchain. So, this is what I have to share with you today. I can see so many people are here and they say, no witches in millionaires. Of course, no village witches on the blockchain. Oh, of course, my brothers and sisters from Nigeria, you can attest to me with this what I'm just saying. I know you guys understand what I'm trying to talk about. There is no village witch to block your shine on the blockchain. That is why we all on this Zoom, we are potential millionaires, and we are people who are going to change their family lineage. If the family doesn't have any millionaires, millionaires will come from us because we are learning the right way of making money. So at this juncture, I would like to invite from the developers team from Singapore, Mr. Brian, to take us through the blockchain and let us understand everything he has when it comes to the blockchain. So thank you, Mr. Brian, for being here, and God bless you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Manuel, for that introduction. So, as Mr. Manuel said, yes, in the blockchain, there are no witches. It's absolutely all written in code. And of course, code itself, we can actually trust because every single code that is written on the blockchain itself is very, very transmutable and nothing can be changed. And it goes through a very, very special consensus mechanism which we'll be learning a little bit in our module for today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, of course, I'd like to give a warm welcome to everybody, whether you're new or whether you are part of our community. Welcome to, of course, our Orizon Academy, I would say. Now, this week itself is module 2, where we'll be learning a little bit about the origins of blockchain itself and what are these smart contracts that we are always talking about, right? What are the logics behind it and what are the fundamentals behind it? Now, I assure you that this blockchain, I would say, sorry, this blockchain class itself, this module itself is designed in a way so that you are able to absorb and understand it very easily without having to know all the jargons, all the special words that most probably would get you or get your head scratching, right? Now, of course, this entire presentation will take around 45 to an hour's time. And right after that, we will go directly into our back office training. Now, during the back office training, it's going to be very, very productive. You can ask me questions along the way, and I'll be more than happy to actually answer you on that. All right. So, once again, my name is Brian. I'm coming all the way from Singapore and part of the developers team. And I've designed this course to actually enlighten everybody itself. Now, of course, if you missed module 1, do not worry about a single thing. Next week itself, we will continue. We will restart the module at module 1, where we'll talk about wallets and securities. All right. So, without further ado, let's begin today's module itself. Now, basically, we need to understand first why was the blockchain actually created? Why was it invented in the first place, right? Now, one thing is because we did not have any trust in the middlemen. Now, of course, for all of history, so basically, if you're looking into every single thing that we have gone through, everything, including every transaction, even the banks itself, needs to go through a middleman itself. Now, with this in mind, we all know that with a middleman, there is only a single point of control, right? Basically, the bank itself controls every single thing. They can freeze, reverse, block your money as you go. Try transferring $10,000 out. Definitely, you will be flagged, right? Now, imagine if a single server goes down or hacked. Who is there to essentially stop everything from restarting? Now, one of the community members came up to me and said that, hey, Brian, what happens if Orizon.vip actually gets hacked, or I would say the website actually goes down? How can I unstake it? Now, there was a video that I apparently showed him as well that you're able to go directly into the blockchain to unstake your tokens. So there's no single point of failure here. Now, the best thing is that every single thing that you look into, you cannot actually verify the transactions that you do with the bank. Now, most probably they give you the statements and all, but how trustworthy is that? Now, when people tell you what kind of return investments that you're getting, it's all usually on paper as well, right? Now, with that being said, trust can also be abused when there's a lot of middlemen. Now, there are a lot of histories, right, of accounts being frozen, hidden fees, all the small little things that you have not read, and they suddenly come in and slap you with that. Now, definitely, these are all the issues that we're looking at, and that's the reason why blockchain was actually invented. Now, remember, everything had to pass through a middleman whenever we did our traditional finance, right? You had to actually trust into one company to hold every single thing together and essentially play fair. Now, this is very, very normal, I would say, in the space of traditional finance. And I'm sure a lot of people here have essentially experienced it for yourself as well. That even in terms of taking out your withdrawals, taking out your interest, whatever it is, it needs to always go through that middle person, right? Now, that's very bad because you're not in full control of your finances. So, in order to understand a little bit more about this, we need to, of course, understand how money actually moves today itself. Now, very, very simple way, if you look into, of course, the first diagram here, you look into, if you, let's just say, go to your bank, or let's just say do any transaction, it needs to go through a middle facilitating company. Like even credit cards, it goes through Visa, right? Now, any transactions that you do, it goes through the merchant bank itself. The merchant bank collects the money, and of course it disperses to the merchant. Now, that's the reason why you can actually dispute a lot of things as well. Now, once the money goes through, if you say that you're getting scammed, of course they're able to flag it down. Now, you could be lying as well. Now, to the merchant, this could be not too good as well, right? Now, of course, if you add in the fees and delays of every single thing, definitely the last thing you do is you need to trust into that person. Now, in the blockchain, very, very direct. Every single thing you do, you go through the blockchain. And when it goes through the blockchain, it's irreversible. And the receiver will 100% receive it. Now, blockchain itself cuts out the middleman itself. Now, of course, how did we got here? We need to have a little bit short history as well. Now, basically, in the 1990s, of course, digital cash was actually pioneered itself, but all needed a trusted centralized party, right? Now, they try to make online money work, and that's the reason why during that time, of course, a lot of people were looking into digitalization, and in the year 2008 itself, Bitcoin's white papers were actually proposed, proposing that there were no middlemen. It's just a shared public ledger out there that everybody knows about. Now, this, of course, gave a spark to a new revolution where in the year 2009, what we call it, the magic internet money was actually born. Now, with this in mind, the Bitcoin network actually went live, and of course, strangers worldwide maintain one honest ledger altogether. So everybody gets to see their checks and balances. If even if I do a transaction today, the whole world will know it. Now, of course, as it progresses on in the year 2015, I would say close to more than a little bit of 10 years ago, Ethereum was actually created. Ethereum ran on another network itself, right? Now, this itself enabled codes to actually run itself on the blockchain, and up until today, right now in the year 2026, where you are experiencing for yourself decentralized finance, where you're able to lend, trade, and of course, protocols like Orizon itself runs on autonomous coding. All of this is thanks to the power of the blockchain itself. A little bit history, of course. In the year 2008, this actually was triggered by a situation where the banks actually collapsed. Now, how many of you here actually remembered where the banks actually collapsed? Right, Citibank actually collapsed. They needed bailouts, of course. Now, this itself made everyone a little bit scared of the centralization. Now, that's the reason why everybody started flocking into the blockchain as well. Now, this is where essentially Bitcoin's first block was actually quoted on the headline as well. Now, I'm pretty sure you've heard of this name before, Satoshi Nakamoto. This pseudo name, basically, it is a Japanese name that people thought it's Japanese, but it's just a pseudo name of a certain developer that created the Bitcoin itself. Now, the creator's true identity is, of course, unknown up until today. You hear a lot of news being saying that Satoshi Nakamoto is actually this person and that person, but none can be actually verified. Now, with this in mind, every single thing builds upon this. And that's why everybody in this space is pseudo-anonymous. Everybody in this space do not need to verify their identities. All of them are just identified by pseudo-anonymous names, plus, of course, your Web3 wallet address. Now, Bitcoin solved money, but actually, the only thing that it could possibly do was only one thing. It is as a store of value itself. Now, it did prove that, of course, without a middleman, every single thing can actually work out. But it could not do a lot of other things. It could not run apps. It could not automate agreements. Now, it could not do a lot of things. I would say gamification, finances, and that's the reason why Bitcoin always was Bitcoin. It did not become something else. In the space of decentralized finance, there is very, very little Bitcoin that you hear about because Bitcoin cannot come into this space. The only time you can come into this space is via wrapping, of course. But because of the legacy of how its blockchain was actually created and the concept that was used, which is the POW, proof of work concept, it was not too great to work in decentralized finance. Now, that's where Ethereum actually shines. Now, how many of you here know that our Orizon protocol is running on the Binance Smart Chain? Now, the Binance Smart Chain is a layer 2 to the layer 1 solution, which is Ethereum, meaning that whatever technological advancements we stem out from the Ethereum's blockchain. And that's the reason why, if you know ERC20, Ethereum's addresses, and also the Binance Smart Chain's addresses, BSC, are usually starting with the same prefix, which is OX, right? 0x itself. Now, that is where you essentially know that we are running on the same blockchain itself. Now, what's the difference between Ethereum and, of course, Bitcoin itself? Very, very simple way to put this actually is that if you look into Bitcoin, Bitcoin only does one thing. Think of it as a calculator. The calculator only can calculate numbers. Bitcoin does one thing only. It's a store of value. It acts as money. But Ethereum itself, think of it as a smartphone. It runs all different kinds of applications. It's able to do calculators, run apps, open YouTubes, whatnot. So it is very, very, I would say, modifiable and also expandable there. Now, that's the difference between Bitcoin and also Ethereum itself. Now, let's look at the blockchain. What exactly is a blockchain? How does it actually work, right? You've always heard about the blockchain, and with the word block and chain, what do you usually think in your mind? Now, whatever that you are thinking in your mind is exactly what it essentially is. So if you look into this diagram on my right, on your right here, you'll be able to see that these are basically blocks itself. Now, blocks are created and data are put into blocks. Think of it as square little boxes. And then what does chain essentially means? It means that these are all chained together. Now, once it's chained together, it is very, very hard for you to go back to that particular block, that old block itself, to change things. Now, basically, there is no single server in the world of blockchain. Everything that we look into is basically spread into thousands and thousands of computers, which we call nodes itself. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the reason why when you hear about people mining about blockchain, Bitcoin mining, you have all these different computers there that take up a lot of energy everywhere. These are basically nodes itself. Now, all of this computing power essentially runs the entire blockchain. So with that being said, there's no centralization. Now, what is the centralized kind of data risk that we're looking at for your normal centralized data? Now, remember one of the news that came out earlier of this year, where AWS, Amazon's server, was actually being bombarded during the Iranian war. Now, with that being said, the entire network actually went down. A lot of data storage centers were actually went offline itself. Now, that is, of course, one of the issues about centralization, but with blockchain itself, none of that. Now, plus the fact that all these nodes share the same records altogether. If I send a particular transaction, all these nodes will get this particular transaction. Now, in order for me to change something on the blockchain, I will need more than 51% of the entire world's confirmation. Then can I only change this particular block? Now, of course, it's doable, but it's very, 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 very unlikely and hard itself. Now, every single thing here is immutable as well. Now, once a block is actually on there, it cannot be quietly changed or it cannot be deleted. Now, it stays on the blockchain forever and ever itself. Now, think of it as everybody keeping the same notebook itself, right? Now, if everybody has the same notebook, there's no way for you to change information there. Because if you were to change information, if everybody is able to verify that, of course, the information has already been changed itself, if they look into their books, then, of course, they will know that there is fraud. Now, basically, it is very, very impossible itself or very unlikely itself. Now, as you know it, each block is locked to the one before it, like I mentioned before, right? Now, data goes in, it gets locked, it gets locked, it gets locked. Now, the only way to actually change and go back is to break the entire link. Now, with this in mind, all the basic history itself stays very, very honest because no one can actually go back into time to change anything. I'm pretty sure that the banks are able to change all these numbers as well. You've heard a lot of different kinds of examples as well on the news that people suddenly get millions transferred into their bank account. But of course, that's not their money, and the bank apologizes and returns that. Now, where is that million coming from? They're basically printing it out, isn't it? So basically, that is one of the downsides, I would say, of centralization as well. Now, we do not need to trust into anything anymore nowadays since we are already on the blockchain itself. There is no need to trust into any companies or what sort, right? Now, of course, if you trust into the design of the mathematically design of the blockchain itself, what you can actually know is that anyone on the blockchain can actually verify the transaction. And that's the reason why whenever you do your transactions, you want to make sure that it's on the blockchain itself, you will be returned with a receipt hash. And that hash itself, you are able to check it out on any scanner of the ledgers. Now, basically, the rules also apply to everybody because everybody shares the same thing. Everybody connects to the same code. Everybody runs on the same thing. There is no special treatments and quiet exceptions. Now, this is where the anti-corruption factor actually comes into play. Now, with the cryptography as well, which is mathematical, not a password vault that you look into, it proves ownerships and also locks the history all in place itself. Now, the best thing about this is that in order for a transaction to go through, it needs to be confirmed by all the computers on the entire nodes that this transaction is verified, then can it only go onto it. Now, in this sense, you no longer need to trust an institution to actually be honest about it. You just need to trust into an open system that anyone can actually audit. And that is the beauty of the blockchain itself. Now, this is how the consensus actually works. The crowd actually checks the entire work as well, right? Now, we all understand that thousands and thousands of computers independently verify each transaction as we go. Now, of course, the majority must agree, and there is no central bosses. Now, this is the way that you actually get consensus. So basically, when you stake your tokens on the blockchain itself, basically you are doing one of the, I would say, voting, giving the one of the voting powers that make sure that the integrity of the entire network is not compromised. So basically, when you do so, you are basically having an agreement, and with this agreement itself, you're able to confirm all the transactions that are essentially running. And this is, of course, the underlying technology of the blockchain itself. Now, what makes blockchain very, very secure itself? Of course, we come into 4 different types of things that you might want to know. Now, basically, it's the hashing. Now, these are basically unique fingerprints, right? Now, change anything, and of course, the fingerprint breaks, and then you are essentially left in a situation where things are not secure. Now, private keys as well. We have learned this in module once. You do not reveal your private keys because private keys enable you to go into your blockchain address to, I would say, access your funds. Now, digital signatures here, of course, every transaction is signed and it cannot be fake. And that's the reason why you log in to, let's just say, your token pocket. And when you do any transactions with the smart contracts, you need to digitally sign it first. You need to verify it first. Huh? And on consensus as well, the whole network must essentially agree to a single transaction going through. Now, there's no single computer that can essentially cheat the record because once the transaction goes through, the whole network needs to know about it, all network needs to approve about it, then can it only go through. Now, very, very simple ways to put this. Now, basically, passwords itself usually proves who logs in, right? But in terms of what keeps the blockchain secure is your private keys itself. Now, this is the one that proves the ownership of your money as well. Now, let's take a look at, of course, into the public address versus the private keys. Now, what are these 2 things that you have actually heard about and not too sure? Now, public addresses are like your home addresses. Now, this is something that you usually share, as you can see in this address example here. Now, this very, very long address that is, of course, made out of a combination of letters and numbers itself. This is, of course, the address that you share with everybody. You're able to share with everybody and you're able to receive tokens. Now, accessing this address, the tokens inside requires the private key. Now, this is very, very similar to your key to your house itself. Now, this is where you understand as well what is a public address and also what a private key essentially is. Now, these are all, of course, the bread and butter of blockchain technology as well. Now, one thing for sure is that every transaction that goes on to, who is actually transacting these transactions? It needs to, of course, have some certain person behind it or some computing power behind it to do so, right? And that is where, ladies and gentlemen, gas fees comes into play. Now, remember, if you want to connect directly to any smart contract, you need to have gas fees. Any transactions you do, you need to have gas fees. Now, think of it as these, of course, blockchains are the entire road itself. In order for you to use them to connect or convey your message directly to the other side, for approvals or whatnot, you need to have gas to fuel your car to bring the package over. Now, when you use blockchain itself, it costs you a very, very small fee. Now, as you can see here, we're running on the Binance Smart Chain. So Orizon uses BNB as the gas fees. Now, basically, this is what fuels the network itself. So one thing for sure is that there are a few different types of blockchains. It's not just one massive, massive blockchain. Now, different blockchains will have different kind of case usages. So as we all know, Bitcoin is a very, very good way to store value itself. It's called the digital gold. But one thing for sure is Bitcoin's a little bit slow because it's a very, very legacy-based code. And because of the POW, the proof of work, it is super, super very secure. However, because it is slow in doing transactions, you're not able to do daily transactions. Now, if you were to look into Visa, Visa does around few 100,000 transactions per minute. Now, basically, if Bitcoin itself per transaction needs to be verified for a minimum of 20 to 30 minutes. Now, these, of course, are verified by miners itself. But Ethereum itself, of course, is very, very fast right now. Now, 5 years ago, it was not that fast. However, right now, after every single upgrade that they have essentially done, where they half the blocks, half the block, half the block all the time, right now itself, Ethereum is quite fast, but not as fast as the BNB chain. The BNB chain is almost instantaneous. And that's the reason why if you join Orizon itself, you know that every transaction that you do is lightning fast and the fees are very, very low. However, Ethereum, of course, was of course the originator of all the smart contracts out there. Now, I'm pretty sure you've heard of a lot of different types of tokens as well. Solana, Avalanche, Polygon, they all have their different blockchains and they have different case usages. Now, Solana was one of the very, very hype blockchains of the current moment, of course, because it boasted a very, very high speed and a very, very low cost. It almost matched, or I would say, it is even does more transactions per minute than Visa and MasterCard combined together. Now, that is a very, very crazy rate that we're looking. However, of course, it's not as stable as it can be. All right. So with that being said, always talk about smart contracts. What is smart contracts that we're talking about? Basically, agreements that are on the blockchain that runs themselves, right? Now, all of this very, very simple. Basically, it's very, very automatic in every single thing is unstoppable. So once you confirm it, it runs its entire cost based on its input itself, right? Now, all the conditions are, of course, written in code itself, and all of it is very, very transparent, and everybody's able to see it. Now, think of it as a vending machine itself. Now, smart contract works very, very simple like a vending machine. You put a money in, and of course, if you select a certain product, it will essentially come out. Now, basically, the right inputs that you put in guarantees that particular output that comes out, and there's no humans needed. Now, this is where I like to explain as well. You put an apple in, and it promises you two apples, 100% it will give you two apples, unlike any human beings, right? So this is why smart contracts are very, very trustworthy, and we all use smart contracts even from Orizon itself. This we have always mentioned. If you're here with us during our PowerPoint presentations every week, we always talk about centralization versus decentralized finance. Now, of course, we take a look into more details about this. Now, in CFI itself, a company basically runs every single thing. It holds your funds, and all you need to do is just trust into them, right? If you don't trust into them, of course, you cannot run it. But 100% is that they are in full control of your financial destiny. They can freeze your accounts, they can block you, they can change rules at any given time. And of course, all the records are private. It cannot be audited. They tell you that this percentage that they sent you is of course there, and essentially you need to trust into them that they will get so. A very, very simple way. One of the very, very easiest example, banks are centralized finance. Now, banks itself, they always say that you put your money in, I give you a fixed deposit, of course. You lock your money in for a year, I'll give you a fixed deposit of 2%. Now, are they actually really making 2%? No, it is just a portion that's distributed out to you. I'm pretty sure that banks make plenty and plenty of money. But of course, they'll say that they have high costs, fixed costs. They have many CEOs that they need to feed, employees that need to pay bonuses of a minimum of 6 months' wages. All of this factored in. And for you, the person that actually committed your money to lend your money for them to actually do their turnarounds, you essentially only get 2 to 3%. How fair is that? Now, in terms of decentralized finance, every single thing is basically run by code, super transparent. All the codes are auditable. No one can freeze you because you're in full control of it. You want to buy, sell, stake, do anything that you please. It's just a button away, approval button away. And every single thing here is open 24/7. There is no public holidays, Christmas holidays, none of that. Every single thing is permissionless. And of course, it is absolutely 100% global. Transfer out 100 million today, no one will bat an eye. Transfer out 10,000 today using centralized finance, you will 100% get flagged. The IRS will come and ask you, of course, why do you have so much money, and so on. Now, every single transaction in decentralized finance can also be verified, and it's absolutely 100% public. Now, think of it as a lock gate and an open door. I like to put this, I would say, example here. Now, basically, centralized finance, there's a gate and there's always a gatekeeper. Now, DeFi is open to everybody, right? Now, if everybody is basically in the space of decentralized finance, there's no one person that can stop you from doing whatever that you do. Now, of course, there are some strengths and of course, there's some trade-offs. So this is very, very important, especially when you're joining our community, joining into the space of decentralized finance. You need to know one thing, that in DeFi itself, everything is very, very transparent, as mentioned to you earlier on, using the technology of blockchain, permissionless, meaning that it's open to anyone, anywhere, anytime. Some people ask, can governments join? 100%. Can anybody join? Yes, you can, as long, ladies and gentlemen, as you have a Web3 wallet, you are able to do this. Now, everything is self custody as well. You have your Web3 wallets, you're in full control of your financial destiny. Okay? And every single thing here is programmable. That's why you're able to see new financial tools coming out, decentralized financial smart contracts, allowing you different kind of mechanisms to make money, to make rewards in return. Now, whatever that you have actually learned about in traditional finance, absolutely some of them only applies. The baseline only applies to this space. This space is entirely an alien space, I would say, for newcomers as well. Things that are absolutely unfathomable, right? You cannot think of it. And how it essentially works will, of course, blow your mind. And to some certain extent, you will not be able to grasp it. A very, very simple way to explain this, why people are not able to grasp it all at once and understand it, is the understanding of the the numeric number as well, right? Now, people can only imagine to a certain extent of a certain set of numbers. For example, if I were to tell you to imagine 10 apples, you would most probably imagine 10 apples. 100 apples, you would most probably imagine 100 apples. Now, 1,000 apples, sure, the whole room's full of apples, right? Now, what if I tell you to imagine 1,000,000 apples? What can you actually imagine now? Now, what if I tell you to imagine 1,000,000,000 apples? Now, remember, 1,000,000,000 is 1,000 million. Now, if you were to stack 1,000,000,000 apples, some people might think like, okay, you fill up 3 football fields, 5 football fields. But 1,000 million, 1,000,000,000 is insane. That number is crazy. No one can actually phantom that parent number. And yet, in the space of decentralized finance, it's around 8 to 10% of 2 trillion worth of market cap value. Now that is a crazy, crazy amount of number that not a lot of people can actually understand, right? Now that's the reason why many people don't understand how value actually is created in this space. And yet it is real. It is something that you can actually realize. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the mysteries, I would say, of how the tokenomics and economics actually work in the space of decentralized finance. So, what are the trade-offs that we are essentially looking at? Now, one of the last strengths that I want to mention is, of course, no one's able to freeze whatever that you're doing, right? So, for example, if you're actually getting rewards up to millions and millions, who can actually freeze you? There's no government, no agents, tax agents coming to freeze whatever that you are actually doing. You are free to do whatever that you please. Now, the trade-offs here is, of course, very important that you need to understand. Now, freedom comes with great responsibility. Now, the responsibility falls absolutely on your hands. Now, in the space of decentralized finance, there is no supporting body here, no customer service, no one is able to help you. And that's the reason why the only people that will help you is your strongest community members. Now, the stronger your community, the more they are able to help you. There are more people that are knowledgeable and they are able to transfer this knowledge over to you. Like whatever I'm doing right now is actually knowledge transfer as well. You do not need to go through all the experiences that I've went through in order for you to know this. And of course, you do not need to procure and read documentations over and over and over again just to understand what actually is happening, right? Now, some of the trade-offs is that some of the codes can have bugs, and that's the reason why it's so important to have smart contract auditors, such as like Certic coming in to look into it. Now, of course, there's a steeper learning curve for newcomers. Some people join Orizon, but yet they have issues, of course, doing their withdrawals, doing their staking, and that's the reason why us as community members here open up as well back office training, such as like today itself. Now, price can be volatile in the crypto market, as we all understand, and that's the reason why as well Orizon is keeping it so tight in terms of controlling the price so that it will not trigger a sell off. Now, of course, scams do exist. This is very, very real. Now, scams itself comes into very different kinds of I would say modes and also levels. One of the biggest scam that you want to look into is, of course, social engineering, where they phish you and take away your keys, make sure that you click into a smart contract. I think some of the community members here have essentially shared as well. They have essentially clicked into a poison address, and their wallet was poisoned to the extent that whatever amount that they are transferred into automatically gets drained. Now, they cannot turn that particular transaction off is because they do not have any gas fees as well, because any gas fees that's transferred into it will automatically be drained. So that is one thing that is a little bit scary that you need to look into. So this is where theory meets real life. What's all this case usages? The very, very simple way to put this is that the blockchain has made it so easy for everybody to trade and send money. Now, you do not need to do any bank wires. You owe someone a particular token, or I would say particular dollar, you can always transfer them USDT, right? Now, it's very, very simple. There's no transactions that needs to be verified, only on the blockchain itself. And of course, as you use stable coins in the future, you're able to essentially go into a situation where you do not need to go through any middle person at all. Now it's 24/7, trade as you please, and change to any tokens as you please. That's the reason why you have USDT, you can buy any tokens. If you feel like you want to buy Bitcoin, you can always change it for Bitcoin as well. Now, the part where it's the digital ownership here is basically every single thing that's on chain, it is basically proving that it is essentially there, right? Now, digital items usually you own itself often live on the company's servers, but here itself, because it's using the blockchain technology itself, ownership can be proven at any given time. And that's the reason why at one stage, it was very, very famous. I'm sure you have heard of it. NFT season, right? The season of where all these pictures cost thousands and thousands of dollars. Now, that is one of the ways that people were actually trying to come into this space to get familiarized with what ownership is on the entire blockchain. And that's the reason why you have people buying so many different types of monkey pictures and it costs so much money because it basically it represented you yourself, and no one can actually take it away from you. It's because it lives on the blockchain. Okay, so one thing for sure, blockchain isn't a scam, but scammers will 100% use it as well. So is the nature of all technologies, right? Such as like email. You use emails to send out to people, but scammers use email to phish people as well, right? Phishing emails itself, yet is very, very legitimate. Now use phone calls. You can call your loved one anytime, connect with people, have meetings, but fraudsters also use it as scams. And that's the reason why they have so many scam centers or whatnot. Now, in the blockchain itself, scammers also will exploit newcomers. And that's the reason why you need to be prepared. You need to be knowledgeable to some certain extent. Now, these two courses were essentially designed in a very, very specific manner by myself itself to make sure that you grasp the very, very basic foundations whenever you enter into this space itself. Okay? So basically, whatever that you have learned in module one, such as like guarding your keys, verifying every single thing, basically slowing down under pressure, not getting all this different customer service support people messaging you and asking for your keys and making you panic, those are your safeguards when you come into this space. Now, We all understand what a stable coin is. You're pretty sure you've heard of USDT before. Now, USDT is basically a stable coin. Now, in this space itself, there are a lot of different type of coins and tokens. Now, tokens itself is like Orizon. Orizon is a specific token, but stable coins itself is basically a token as well, but the value itself is pegged to the US dollar. Now, meaning that if the US dollar goes up, the USDT goes up. If the US dollar goes down, the USDT actually goes down because the value of it is basically pegged to it. Now, who determines this value itself? The public. The public's the one that determines this value. If you think that USDT costs $1 and you accept it as a trade currency, then it becomes valuable itself. Now, basically, this is essentially how the world of crypto actually works, such as like Bitcoin. What's backing Bitcoin, to be honest? Nothing. Why is it at 60,000? Who knows? But is it at 60,000? Yes. When you sell it, do you get 60,000 USDT? Yes, you do. So, what is the value there? Now, basically, these are the things that you want to clear your mind as well. Now, we'll go through this very, very quickly. So, the myth and facts as well. Now, a lot of people think that blockchain is anonymous, but it's actually not. It's pseudo anonymous. If you were to do your tracing, you're able to trace it back to the source. Now, basically, crypto is only for criminals. A lot of people say the people that operate on USDT is to scam people or whatnot. That is, of course, not true at all. Now, most of the case usages here, people use to save money. Basically, they build infrastructures itself. Cash is basically used for criminals as well, right? It depends on how you're able to use it. Now, of course, some people say that blockchain cannot be hacked. Now, although the chain is very, very secure itself, it's true. When the chain is very secure, it cannot be impenetrable, it's impenetrable, but all the apps, wallets, and users can be targeted. And that's the reason why during module 1, you learn as well how people are actually socially engineering how to get your keys. Now, once they get your keys, that's done. They're able to access your wallet and scam you. Now, some people say that DeFi has no risk. Now, I'm pretty sure that DeFi has risk as well. Now, although it removes the middleman, there are also some risks, such as like price volatility. Now, of course, some of the mistakes are essentially real. That's why you need third-party auditing firms. Now, there are bugs as well. Bugs needed to be, of course, settled in a manner, because if it's not, then essentially it will make a lot of issues. And that's the reason why CerTic as well look into all these different bugs and address them. Now, is crypto going to replace all the banks tomorrow? I would very, very much like to say it would be a very, very good idea, but I would not say anytime soon. Now, as we are growing towards this space, it is a thing that is always growing, right? Now, 10 years ago versus now, the landscape has changed tremendously. Now, of course, if you'd have bought Bitcoin at a few cents last time, right now it's 60,000. Now, who would have thought 60,000? Those people that actually came out and became rich from Bitcoin itself. Now, only two different type of people. People that essentially have coded and know what's going to happen. And secondly, is people that have forgotten about their wallet and they just realized 10 years later and they just struck gold. Now, essentially, if you are feeling heartbroken that you didn't buy Bitcoin when they were a few dollars, and right now they're millions and millions of dollars, I'm here to tell you that that will not ever happen. Reason being is because if you have bought it at $1, it became $5, you have just sold every single thing. You will not have waited. And even if you have waited, you would have most probably sold it when it became a few thousand. And even if you have waited for that, you would have even sold it when it reached 10,000. You will not wait until it becomes 60,000, right? Now that's the harsh truth about how the entire I would say the world works, I would say. Okay, so basically this is where Orizon actually fits in. Right now, Orizon is actually a DeFi protocol itself running on the Binance Smart Chain itself. Now, every single thing that you have learned about today about the blockchain itself, Orizon is actually living on that space as well. Now, we talk about decentralized finance, we're also there as well. We run on smart contracts. Every single thing you keep safe on yourself. We do not touch your funds. You keep your funds safe in your wallet. Whenever you want to transact, you transact. Transparency is 100% here by default as well because we're running on the Binance Smart Chain. And every single thing here is open and permissionless, meaning that there's no gatekeepers, 24/7 open, stake and unstake. With our flexi staking, you can unstake at any given time. Your principal will never ever be locked up, right? So want to know a little bit more about how Orizon actually works? Now, basically, this is nearly the end of my presentation already, but here is very, very simple way we break it down on how essentially Orizon works, how DeFi actually meets AI in that sense, right? Now, Orizon blends the both of these worlds together. We are, of course, very, very open source. Every single thing we do in terms of all our smart contracts have already been audited. And of course, in the space of decentralized finance, we bring in AI into this space, the productivities of AI itself. Now, with that being said, we generate real world revenue. Now, our token ORI with the ticker ORI is of course backed by the treasury itself. Now, with this being said, the treasury itself supports the RFV value that of course allows for the minting of more ORI tokens in the near future. Now, whenever you stake your ORI or ORI tokens, it grows by a rebase. Now, basically, your rebasing actually adds rewards automatically over and over, and thus growing your ORI as the schedule goes on. Now, this can be, of course, identified by the APY that is essentially promised on different types of staking contracts that you're looking at, right? Now, the two ways to stake about that. Now, I mentioned earlier on, one is the flexible staking and one is the fixed. Now, flexible, very, very straightforward. Stake and unstake whenever you want. It's called liquid staking. You have full freedom and flexibility. Now, although the rewards here are, of course, a little bit modest, but if you go for higher return on investments, you want to go for fixed itself. Now, you commit from three different types of periods: 90 days, 180 days, and 360 days. Now, the longer that you commit, the more rewards that you essentially get. Now, your ORI actually stays locked up until the term actually ends. But this is the space of decentralized finance. You can choose whatever that you please. Which one fits you best, you can choose. And that's the beauty of it. Now, we all know that how the protocol balances itself as well. The price itself that you're looking at is very, very stable itself. This is because of all the smart contracts working in tandem with each other. Now, there's no managers pulling any levers anyways. Every single thing here is automated. Now, it's built to be verified as well. We have Certic verifying us. Open source, all the ownerships has already been renounced as well. So you do not need to worry about a single thing. And the simplest way is, how do you usually join this movement? Is when you have your Web3 wallet with you. Maybe a token pocket, Trust wallet, MetaMask, any of these wallets will do. Connect directly to our decentralized application where you can essentially get ORI from the decentralized exchange, the Pancake Swap, and you stake it and you start earning rewards. As simple as that. Okay? So, very, very simple way. Connect your wallet, approve it, have some BNB on hand, have some gas fees, as mentioned to you earlier on. You need gas fees to do your transactions. Now, deposits, basically, you just buy ORI from the exchange, the decentralized exchange, put it into the contracts, and when you stake and run your contracts automatically, you can withdraw any given time that you please. Now, from your principal to your interest itself. All right. Now, this is the future of how things actually work, right? Now, basically, how value works, of course, it will move in different kinds of ways as how the internet has changed every single thing. Now, for those senior gentlemen here, of course, you remember the time of a place where there were no internet at all. Everything was basically through connectivity. And right now, of course, if you were to fast forward back during those years and think of where we are today, it's absolutely unfathomable. Now, that is essentially how things actually work as we progress on. Every single thing has value. And of course, every single thing moves as well through the blockchain in the very near future. Healthcare, payments, banking, anything to do with AI as well. Now, this is the reason why, in the space of decentralized finance, there will be a use for AI. And of course, Orizon is there to answer that question, to answer that particular, I would say, fill up that gap, right? Okay, so with that being said, you now have completed module 2. You understand a little bit why, of course, why's and what's behind Web3 itself. Now, basically, in the old ways itself, we used to trust into firms. No longer that. We're moving towards a place where we do not need to trust into any of this middle person anymore. Blockchain is the most trustworthy thing. It's all mathematical. Every single thing is based on cryptography. Contracts are uploaded on the blockchain, and all the contracts essentially will deliver whatever that they promise you. And especially in decentralized finance, you are in full control of your financial destiny itself. All right. So, with that being said, this ends module 2. So I hope that essentially has been quite eventful for everybody. All right. So with that being said, if you have any questions right now that you feel that you want to ask me along the way, anything about this module here, you want to have a little bit more clarification, you can always put up your hand, and we'll have a few questions before we jump into our second session, which is our back office training. Now, the back office training is designed to actually get you on board faster on how you're able to join Orizon itself. Of course, you need to have a Web3 wallet with you. Now, it could be a MetaMask wallet, Token Pocket, any of these Web3 wallets will do. Now, as long as it's connected to the web, as long as it's a Web3 wallet, you'll be able to connect directly with our smart contracts. No questions about that. All right. So let me just pull up this chat. Funny thing about my computer is that every single time my chat disappears. All right. Okay, great. Let's take a look at some of the questions here before we jump up. Simon says that, hello, Miss. Is it possible to give us the PDF of module 1 and module 2? Yes, so I will get that prepared to you and send it over to you in this chat at the end of the session, right? So Elijah says, thank you. Thanks for the presentation. Can we get a recording? Yes, you can. So this has already been recorded, but only when I end this session can the recording be, I would say, recorded. So please refer to your leaders that have brought you here, or you can always go to our Telegram group chat to continue getting that link later on, right? So Josephine says that why is the contribution staking reward declining? Now, one thing for sure is that our APY readjusts itself. Now, imagine if basically our treasury does not have enough to actually give out so much. It will readjust itself until it receives certain inflow. Now, why is this so? Is because, as we all know, we're in the space of economics as well, right? In the economical space as well. It's of course not unlimited resources that we essentially have. Now, the best thing about the smart contract is that it does with whatever that it essentially has. It readjusts itself so that it can pay you out for the promised period of time. Imagine if it overpays you. What essentially happens when companies overpay? Pretty sure you have experienced this as well, especially when you go into centralized finance, trust into these companies that give you high APYs, or I would say monthly returns or weekly returns or daily returns just for them to close down. Now, this is called a bubble. Now, whenever a bubble happens, they're not able to pay you out, it essentially closes down. Now, whatever that we have learned earlier on as well, in the year 2009, basically the banks essentially even closed down. Even the bank itself is able to close down because it was not able to pay out the interest, or I would say money that is owed out. Now that is essentially what happened, right? Okay. So I hope that actually answered. So basically, Chowi says that blessing greeting. Hello. Oppo says, can my next of kin be able to access my account? This can only be done if you set it up. So if you were to come to our day one, I would say module one of the session, we touch a little bit about this. So the community members ask as well, because this space is decentralized finance, there's no customer support, there's no middle person involved. Of course, the successor that gets to access your Web3 wallet, you are the one that needs to make sure that that happens. That is, of course, by keeping your secret phrase keys in a particular place, or I would say in a particular with your lawyer. That whenever something happens to you, that particular lawyer or trust will send this seed phrase keys over to your next of kin. That is the only way to go about it. There's no automatic way to go about it, of course. All right. So, Michael Nate, thank you for the answers here. Okay, so Certic says that which makes the score go up and down. Our Ori was 84, but today is 81. Now, basically, Certic score adds in a lot of different factors. Now, one thing for sure is that all the code securities here are essentially locked up. That means the code security is already audited, and because of how we are not able to change anything in the code, that particular score does not change, right? What actually changes is the community, because they have different types of section as well, as you can see it. So if a community actually grows, it of course goes up, right? However, if a community actually goes down a little bit, then it goes down. So the Certic score itself changes as it goes. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down, but the baseline of the technology, of the smart contracts, that does not change. All right. So our blockchain Orizon operates on the BSC chain, Binance Smart Chain. So this one is actually a layer 2. Now, of course, layer 1s, layer 2s, in order to understand this, we definitely need to have a little bit more, I would say, a detailed a dive into it, right? Now, this could be module 3, which we will be opening up maybe next month itself. Module 3, maybe it depends. If you all want to learn more, a deep dive into all these different things, it will be a little bit more complex, I would say. But if you want to learn about that, maybe you want to cast your votes in, then maybe I'll be able to cook something up for you guys. All right. Okay, Kimberly says that does the principal fund remain in the wallet, or is it withdrawn immediately after deposit? If it remains and grows in the wallet, how can I able to see it in the principal? Okay, so whenever you stake your tokens in the blockchain, your tokens goes into the blockchain, right? Your token goes into the network. What it returns you is a particular SORI. Now, this SORI is like a receipt that you have actually staked. Now, whenever you want to redeem your particular tokens from the blockchain itself or the network itself, the smart contract itself, you need to return back this SRE. Now, whenever you want to unstick, it's basically returning back this SRE back to that, and it verifies that this particular person has actually staked 5 ORIs, let's say, and it will automatically take out 5 ORIs from the network and give it back to you. That's how you're able to actually see it. So all the transactions that you're actually doing, you're able to go to your Web3 wallet, go to the transaction settings, you can see it all on the blockchain already. So it's as simple as that. All right. So, perfect. All right. So, with that being said, thank you for all your questions itself. So, can the pay increase above and can it go lower than 12? So, you're talking about the APYs, right, Bernard? So, basically, the APYs can actually go above 1400s, or I would say 1400 or 14 times your return on investments. This is, of course, if you have a plenty of inflow into the treasury itself, right? Now, reason there's a logic here behind all the APYs that are given. Now, we are human beings. We are incentivized to do things. Even every single day we wake up, we go to work, we're incentivized by money, right? Monetary value, we're able to get it. Of course, we're able to buy things. It's the same thing here as well. Now, Orizon itself is a blockchain protocol. Now, what's incentivizing you to push this blockchain protocol out? There must be some sort of incentive. Now, this incentive, of course, needs to outweigh whether your cost of, let's just say, the cost of your time and efforts versus your returns, whether it is justifiable or not. Now, at the very, very start of it all, a high APY is given out is so that people are able to essentially adopt Horizon and share this out. Now, if you share this out, you're able to stake and share this out and get rewards. Will you not share it out? You will. And now that has already satisfied one of our Horizon protocol's needs, which is to get this protocol out. Now, as it adjusts itself as it goes on, is because it does not have the inflows necessary right now. Now, the inflows will come in later on when the protocol essentially grows, where it has its productivities as well as its increase in, let's just say, assets generation through the treasury via bond mechanisms. All of this will increase the APY as it goes. Now, will it go lower than a certain band? Now, you can see that the APY sometimes it goes low. Now, why is it goes low is because it does not have enough as per se. Because more and more people join, it needs to distribute more out. So logically, if it starts giving you the same APY or even higher APY without productivities, will it not bubble? It will 100% bubble. Now, will it go lower than a certain percentage? Now, it is designed not to go down that fast. Now, reason being is because if people actually got the ball rolling right now and everybody is sharing, and of course your APY is high, then suddenly your APY goes to 1. Now, everybody's going to abandon the project. So, whatever that's being built itself is counterproductive. If everybody abandons the entire protocol itself, although the protocol still lives on to the blockchain, it will not go anywhere, it will not go far without the community itself. Okay. So, with that being said, this is essentially what it is, right? Okay, prediction market as source of income in the future. No, I don't think so. We'll be putting in prediction markets. Prediction markets is a different category altogether. It's more of maybe sports books, iGaming. That industry itself is a little bit different from decentralized finance. But there's a very good input that you do have, though. Okay, so can I be able to withdraw my interest before the end of fixed time? Yes, your interest can be withdrawn at any given time. So it doesn't matter whether you're on the fix. So for example, right now, if you're on 360 days fix and you have just started barely 1 week, meaning that you still have 350 days more to go, you want to realize your interest, you can withdraw your interest at any given time. But bear in mind, ladies and gentlemen, when you withdraw your interest, it goes through a 180-day vesting period. Now, this 180-day vesting period is when your entirety of your interest turns into ORI, where you'll be able to buy and sell it later on, right? Sorry, sell it and stake it later on. Now, if you want more information about this, do not worry about a single thing. Every Thursdays, Saturdays, and Tuesdays, we will have our presentation, and there you'll be understanding a little bit more as we go on. Okay, so thank you for your questions. If you have more questions, don't worry, just put it onto the chat. If I read it later on, and I'll answer them accordingly. But now let's jump into our back office training. Now, give me just 30 seconds to prepare launching my browser itself, I would say, and also just to wet my lips a little bit. Okay, thank you. Yes. Okay, I'm back. So I owe you, you're asking how does Flexi Ori actually works? Now there are a lot of aspects to that question and in which angle you're actually asking from. I think this was the very, very first things that you have essentially asked, and I've actually answered them earlier on. So I think you want to scroll all the way up. I think I've answered them. So you'll be able to see my answers there, all right? Okay, so let's take a look at what we have. All right, so let's take a look here. This is our Horizon.vip. Now, very simple way is this is our decentralized application. As I'm sharing with you my entire screen is because if I share with you the browser, I'm not able to show you that the MetaMask that I'm using. So MetaMask is one of the Web3 wallets that I'm actually using for today's demo. Two wallets actually, MetaMask and my BitGet wallet. Now my BitGet wallet has a fix and flexi there. So later on we'll jump into that. So very, very simple way. First things first, you need to have a Web3 wallet. Maybe a Trust Pocket, Token Pocket, MetaMask, any Web3 wallet will do. So one thing is that you need to log in. I'm just going to show you. So once I log into my MetaMask, it will essentially show me the balance that I have. So this is the balance that I actually have. So if I look into the low value tokens, this I can actually look at. So I have some Ori here, which is around 50 cents worth. Now, these are, of course, different tokens that I have not added, but people have actually sent to me. So please do not click onto that. Even though if there's like millions of dollars, don't click into it. It's a scam. All right. So look into the BNB. I have around 15 cents. So 15 cents will give me a long mileage. Now, one thing for sure is that remember, we talked a little bit about gas fees earlier on. Why do you need BNB as a gas fee? Because whenever you connect your Web3 wallet, you need to have some handshakes with smart contracts itself. So right now, you need to have some BNB in order for you to transact. Transact in what kind? Approving your transactions, also approving invitations, or I would say whoever that you're in, whoever that you're inviting, they must also have BNB, right? Okay, so very simple way to go about this. As you know, I have my MetaMask wallet here already. So what I do is that I enter into the decentralized application. What it shows is you click on this, you click on connect wallet. It will ask you a few things, whether you're going to use a BitGet wallet, MetaMask, Token Wallet, Trust Wallet. Now, if you do not see any of your Web3 wallets here, do not worry about a single thing. Click on Wallet Connect. Wallet Connect is the universal connector. Think of it as a USB itself. It connects any Web3 wallet. Now, as you can see here on my top right hand screen, I do have a Phantom wallet. Now, I can always connect my Phantom wallet with it if I please. Now, as you can see, there's no Phantom wallet here, right? So you don't have to worry about a single thing. Okay, so for the sake of this example, I'm just going to take out my BitGet wallet because my BitGet wallet has more accounts inside that you'll be able to take a look at. Okay, so all I need to do is access my phone, pop up my BitGet wallet. Now, I also understand that everybody has accessibility to their phones right now. So the phone is most probably where you're able to do your said transaction. Okay, so I'm just gonna go to my account, and what I'm going to do is I am going to scan. I'm gonna scan this, and once this is done, I will do, see, I'm using Wallet Connect right now, and I'm able to even do so. So I've authorized this. Sorry. Click on the wrong one. Okay, got it. Confirm it. Okay, yep. So I'm in right now. All right, so basically when I'm in right now, what I can essentially do is I look into the dashboard. Now the dashboard is not really that important because if you look into the dashboard, it's just giving you different metrics, but we're going to go through it anyways. So basically this is the price of ORI. This is the total minted ORI, and of course this is the market cap that we're actually looking at. Now this widget here shows how much ORI has been staked and what is the circulating supply and what is the restaking interest done to that, right? Now, if you scroll all the way down here, there are some charts that you look at. You can see that there is this particular S-ORI. Now, what is this S-ORI that we're actually talking about? Now, remember, whenever you start staking, basically they return you with S-ORI. Now, SRE basically means that it's a receipt of how much you have actually staked onto the network itself, right? Now, it's just basically a receipt that uh, signifies how much you have actually staked. And you can always take this SRE whenever you click on unstake, it will always return back this SRE and it will return you back your ORI tokens, okay? So as you can see, 100% is a liquidity owned protocol. Now, the ORI stake here, as you can see, is 55%. What does this mean? It means that the selling pressure is never ever high. Imagine if the entire circulation is being staked in the bank itself, it will not have a situation where everybody panics and sells it, right? And the total ORI being burned here as well is being shown. Now, this practically means that as we go on and as we mint out more ORI, you need to burn ORI as well because it's an inflationary it's a deflationary mechanism to make sure that the ORI tokens are essentially not oversupplied. So simple ways to go about this is that the first thing you want to look at is the fixed staking, okay? So simple way to go about this is I'm going to be able to show you, yeah, okay. Right, so you can see that this is the fixed staking here. Now, what is this rebase that we're looking at? Now, this rebase means that every 3 hours and 36 minutes, it will release interest. So this is basically the countdown timer to that happening. So meaning that in 56 minutes, I can expect my interest to be released into my interest account, which is here. All right. So what kind of interest are you looking at? Well, it very depends, right? It depends on what kind of staking you're going for. So if you're going for 360 days, 180 days, 90 days, it has their different APYs. Now, what are these APYs that we're looking at? Now, essentially, you can see that the APY has actually increased. Now, why is this APY actually increased? A lot of factors. One thing for sure is that people maybe stop staking. So they withdrew their staking, meaning that the calculation for APY increases because it doesn't need to pay out so much anymore. So of course, your APY increases, right? So this is essentially what it means, right? Okay, so for example, as mentioned to you earlier on, 360 days has its APYs, 180 days APY, 90 days APY. So what does this translate into? Now remember, every 3 hours and 36 minutes, you will release interest. So if I were to look into 360 days and scroll all the way down here, you are able to see my next reward yield. Now this next reward yield here, which is represented by a 0.169%, this means that every 3 hours and 36 minutes, it will take my principal plus my interest, combine it together, and multiply by 0.1069. And I will get my rebase. Okay? So this is what it pretty much means. So some people are a little bit afraid that the APYs are dropping, yes, it promises you 13 times, but as you progress on, maybe it's taking half the year, your APY drops to 10. Will they be still getting 13? Now, this is very, very dependent on this amount, right? Because every 3 hours and 36 minutes, it will calculate your interest. So this equates to, based on this APY. Now, what happens if the APY actually drops to 10,000? Okay, so if it drops to 10,000, then you will know for a fact that this return on investment, this reward yield, will actually go down significantly lower. It could be 0.0998. So that is actually how it works. So it doesn't mean that at the end of 1 year, whatever APY that's shown here, you will get it. you will essentially start generating interest every 3 hours and 36 minutes. So it's a progressive kind of thing going. Okay. So that is one of the explanations. But of course, if you want to know a little bit more about what kind of expectations, click onto the calculator. Calculator is very simple. You put in the amount of ORI that you want, put in the amount of months that you want to look into, then you'll be able to see. So for example, you can even readjust these rewards, right? So what happens if my rewards goes up? Now, of course, this is significantly higher. It doesn't jump up that much. What happens if my ORI significantly gets lowered down? Now, basically, you will essentially get a lower return on investment as well. And you can actually have an understanding of what kind of returns that you're getting. So what's more importantly is that you would want to kickstart your journey. So how you want to kickstart your journey with Orizon itself is that you need to have USDT and BNB on hand. So when you have USDT and BNB on hand, you'll be able to actually join through the link that someone sent you. So for example, this is the invitation link that it will most probably look like what it looks like. So just let me just confirm this on my phone. All right. And as you can see, this is what the link most probably look like. So this is what you get. You send people this link and people click into this link and they'll be able to join under you, right? So I'm just gonna open another one. I'm gonna put it here. Okay, maybe that's not working. Do I have a Firefox here? Okay. Right. So it looks something like that. So basically, people are able to connect the wallet here. So when they click on the connect wallet, they need to put in their wallet address, and of course, they need to have a little bit of gas fee. Then they're able to join under you, right? So this is one of the ways to actually get people to join under you. Now, secondly, is that once you have gas fees, you're able to do all the necessary approvals already. You want to get your first ORI, so you can always go to the swap. Whenever you go to the swap, this is where you can actually change ORI for USDT. So if you have any USDT on hand, so for example, you have 100 USDT, you can always swap it with ORI. Now, this is connected directly to the Pancake Swap. So this is the Pancake Swap. And it's connected 100% directly to this decentralized exchange. From here itself, you are able to actually search ORI tokens, and as you can see, and you can swap it for USDT. Make sure it's USDT because that's the pair that you look at. So you put in 100, you can always swap it for ORI. It is basically the same thing. 1.9717, 1.9777. Because this is a bridge, but this is more convenient for you to do so. Now, whenever you have ORI on hand, let's just say you have gotten all that interest and you have generated already and changed it to ORI. What you want to do is that you want to cash out, you want to use this, spend it with your family, reinvest whatsoever. You want USDT, put it here as well. So let's just say if you have 10 ORIs, you can always cash out USDT. Remember, any given time, any time at all, with any internet connection, you're able to do so. All right. So it's as simple as that. Now, of course, if you want to buy some wrap BNB, you're able to do so as well. USDT, you can actually buy some wrap BNB, 100 here. You're able to buy wrap BNB. Okay. So that is one of the ways to go about it. So if you have USDT on hand and you're too lazy to even go to the swap, no worries about that. You can click on direct staking. So what is this direct staking and manual staking? Now, direct staking pretty much means that if you have USDT balance, you click on buy and fix stake, it will automatically change your USDT via the swap and automatically stake it. Now, of course, when you stake it, it will look something like that. You have your fixed staking records here. Now, as you can see here, ladies and gentlemen, this is the timestamp of when I staked. It was last year. And this is how long more do I need to wait. I need to wait another 3 months until this is fully vested. And after this is fully vested, I'm able to take this interest out. Now, of course, if I leave it on, it will still continue generating interest for me. All right. So that's how it essentially works. You have a 180-day contract here. You can have multiple contracts. So you can always click here. Now, what is manual staking? Manual staking is simple. If you have ORI on hand, then you'll be able to use this to actually stake. As simple as that. Now, because as you go along, you release interest, You change it to ORI from your team rewards, from your personal rewards, doesn't really matter. You can always use ORI to actually stake, right? Now, here itself, if you want to unstake your interest, you're able to do so as well. Now, one thing for sure is that at any given time, you can actually unstake your interest. So whenever you stake your interest here, some people might be asking, Brian, I don't see a module here where I can actually start claiming my interest over 180-day vesting period, right? Because this is the 180 days vesting period. So where do I find this? So basically, very simple. If you have unstaked this 0.0908 amount, where does this amount go? This amount will go to your flexi stake. Now, when it goes to your flexi stake, it will be represented here into your interest. Now, with this in mind, you click on claim interest, then you will be able to claim whatever interest that you please over whatever period that you choose. So by default, it's 180 days equals to 0 rep BNB. But if you want to speed things up, let's just say 15 days, you need to pay. So I'm gonna click on this. So if I'm gonna put 0.347 here, if I want to speed this up to 15 days, I need to buy 0.007 worth of rep BNB. Now you need to have rep BNB on your wallet, then can you only burn. If you don't have, then you're not able to do so, right? So for example, right now I want to burn, I want to release it over a 180-day period. I'm able to do so. I just need to claim this and just need to confirm it, and it will go through a claiming period. Okay. So once that's done, you'll go through a claiming period. So once the claiming period is done, you can see that it's a new contract here that is starting to claim. Now what are these things that you're looking at right now? Now this is my claim interest schedule. Now I've started claiming for 180 days for all of these different contracts that I'm looking at. So I still got 46 days until the entirety of this has actually been claimed. Now remember, day by day, on an average basis, you will receive ORI, which is claimable here. Now remember, I have not claimed my ORI for quite a while. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to claim it. So I'm going to claim this ORI, approve it. And once I claim it, it will turn into ORI, which I'm able to go to the swap to essentially sell it. So I can sell it for USDT. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap it for USDT right now. Any amount will do. There's just going to be a 5% fee that's going to be applied. So as you can see, 5.9, I already have USDT on hand right now. It's essentially as simple as that. Okay. So very, very straightforward, very, very simple as well. So that's for the fixed staking, and of course, this is for the flexi staking. And as you can see, when I'm starting to release my interest, I can claim it on a daily basis. This is all part of the design, right? Now, flexi staking, very, very simple as well. Basically, you can unstake and stake at any given time. So as you can see here, staking is when you have ORI and you can stake any ORI you please. Unstaking, you can unstake at any given time. So easy way to explain this to you is that let's just say, for example, I'm actually staking right now, right? Now, basically, I'm just going to unstake this, confirm it. And when I have this on hand already, meaning that I have some ORI on hand, I can always sell it for USDT. I'm just going to sell it, although I'm just going to lose a little bit, which is a 5% swap for the treasury. And I have my balance of 18 right now. Now, with this 18 US dollars, of course, I can do whatever that I please with it. I can always buy ORI as well. So I can always swap it back. And I'm going to buy it. Now, remember, buying no fees. Unstaking as well, no fees. I go to my Flexi, and as you can see, I can stake it back in at any given time. And it is as simple as that. So when I stick it back, as you can see my value here, this is my total stake value. Okay? So this is how you do your fixed and flexi staking. Now, bond mechanisms are not open yet, of course, but the next one that I want to look into is the contribution part. Now, the contribution part is where you look into your team rewards. Now, we call this team rewards, right? So this entire place is where you're able to look into your team rewards. Now, this team total stake principal equivalates to your personal staking amount plus your team staking amount. So where do you find your team staking amount? You can always look at it at invites. Now, invites here shows you that you have 3 direct invitations and 3 teams, meaning that you've only 3 people under you. Now, if this is 3 and this is 10, means that out of this 3, you have basically 3 people and you have 7 people underneath you. Something like that. Now, you cannot determine whose leg is it. The only way to determine whose leg has what is by looking at the total principal stake. So meaning that this total principal stake means that this particular direct referral actually has a total of 0.2787 Oris stake under him. Now, remember the rule of thumb here is that you need to balance this out, right? You cannot have a too heavy leg. Now, what you see here is actually a too heavy leg. Now, remember, this is 0.2787. So I can only capitalize on 0.035 and 0.035. These 2 things will actually give me money. Now, this is my largest community, so it doesn't take me money. So I need to make sure that I balance it out. So if I were able to balance it out to 0.15 to 0.15 to 0.15, then this becomes my largest community and I will capitalize on 0.3 arrays. That is essentially how it works. Okay. So with that being said, let's go to the contribution. This is the total team stake principal here. Now this is one of the values that you want to look at, is because this equivalates to your total principal plus your team rewards. Okay. Now, one thing that you want to look at is your stake base. Your stake base equals to 5 times of your personal staking. Now, contribution factor equals to your team rewards plus with your staking rewards, or I would say your direct referral rewards. So if you plus these 2 together, you will actually get this contribution factor. Now, why you're actually looking at this contribution factor not adding up is because I have essentially burned ORI before. So whenever I burn ORI, it actually drops my contribution factor. So for 1 ORI burn, it drops my contribution factor by 5 ORIs. So this means that I'm able to earn more now. Now, this is a mechanism that you actually use if you want to earn more team rewards in the near future without having to increase your personal staking, because there is a maximum of how much you can actually increase in terms of your personal staking amount. So simple ways to put this is, right now, if you have 200 ORIs, personal staking I'm talking about, which means that you can actually earn 1000 ORI worth of team rewards, right? Now, if you were to, let's just say your team rewards right now is sitting at 1010. Now, this means that you're not able to earn ORI anymore, right? Because this is the max cap, right? So even if you were to increase, let's just say another 100 ORIs on your personal staking, which gives it 300 ORIs, it doesn't increase your cap anymore, because this is the max cap. The max that you can actually earn is basically 1000 ORI from team rewards based on your personal staking. So the only way that you can actually increase your team rewards here is by burning ORI, which is true here. So whenever you burn ORI, then you're able to earn more team rewards. So that's essentially what it means. Okay. So once again, contribution weight equals to your team rewards. Staking rewards equals to your direct referral rewards. Okay. Okay. So if you scroll all the way down here, remember your team rewards can be released as interest as well. Now, it needs to be released by interest, meaning that you still need to go through 180 day. But the difference here is that instead of burning Wrap BNB, you can actually start using your interest as a form of payment. And this is what it actually looks like. So as you can see here, I've actually started burning ORI, and it accelerates the period from instead of 180 days to 15 days. All right. So from here, I can same thing. I can always claim my ORIs as well. And this is my rewards that I'm looking at. So as I claim it, you can see it disappears. Now I can always go for this as well. So for example, I want to show you a special thing here. Ladies and gentlemen, please do pay attention. So basically, if I am releasing my interest over 180 days, as you can see here, over 180 days, I pay zero fees, right? Zero fees. But what happens if halfway through I want to accelerate it? I can always do so as well. I can click on accelerate and choose 15 days, let's just say. So I just need to sacrifice that particular amount of ORI, confirm it. Once I confirm this, and as you can see, voila, I have speeded it to 15 days, but it has taken 25% of the releasing amount. So this is essentially how you do so as well. Some people like to release their interest a little bit slower until they have an emergency, then they will speed things up. They can do that. So at least they save up, right? They do not need to burn the entire 25% in fees, okay? And the last thing here before we wrap this up is the flow. Now this flow itself shows what kind of returns that you are actually getting on a daily basis from your team rewards and your direct referral rewards. So this is the way you can keep track of your earnings. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is pretty much it. And the last one is the Orizon. So basically, this is Orizon itself. You can always connect your wallet and use the large language model, the AI chat that we have, or I would say the music studio that we essentially have, right? So all you need to do is just connect your wallet directly, and of course, once you scan it already, you'll be able to access it, and you can do whatever that you please with it. But bear in mind there are some fees that you need to look into. Now, these are, of course, part and parcel of Orizon, as we'll be charging fees later on for the usage of our productivities. All right. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that has been quite insightful for everybody. And thank you for staying over and to the very end. I would say applause to everybody that have done that. So let me just look into the chats and see any questions here before I essentially take my leave here. And of course, let me see. Give me a second. Yep. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is definitely recorded, so you do not need to worry about a single thing. But once the link is ready already, I will share it, and you'll be able to get it on our Telegram group. So please do join our Telegram group itself. I am not able to access my chat for some reason unknown. So I do not know what other people are actually typing about. There we go. Okay. All right. So let's see what kind of questions we have here. Oh, we have a lot of questions, to be honest. I've actually answered most of them. Okay, through my outline, I was told that if I invest 1 year, I can get my capital back in 4 months. It is true. Yes, definitely it is true. You're able to do so. How can I log into my Ori wallet? Sorry, I don't get that question. How do I log into my Ori wallet? You need to have a Web3 wallet in order for you to do so. And then it automatically connects to, right? Okay, so because I don't understand how is it being calculated, because I know my Binance is always low. Don't understand. Sorry. My email Wambuki. Okay, will appreciate. Okay, 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 okay. So just hang on here. Give me a second. I will convert some of the slides into PDF and send it over here so everybody's able to actually get it. Give me a second. If I'm able to do so, of course. Yes, I am able to do so. Save as. Okay. All right. There we go. This is the first module. Right. Okay. Here we go. And this is the second module that I'm going to be sharing with everybody. Okay. Now, the recordings can be found later on in the Telegram group, as I mentioned to you earlier on. Okay. So, yeah. So with that being said, I think some of the things here I want to look at. So I can't see my referral link anymore. It keeps telling me to verify. So you need to click on the verification first, right? Sometimes if it keeps asking you the same thing, I would suggest that you just swap into another browser because it's a cache problem. Either that or you need to clear the history in order for you to proceed on, okay? So this actually will change things on. So kindly repeat again how show where to see the total Ori staked. Okay, so if you're looking at your module, you would okay. So we're looking at your module. The total Ori stake is actually shown there very, very I would say prominently on the page. It depends on what kind of staking that you're actually choosing, right? So if you go for the fixed staking, it's actually shown there on your total Ori staked. Okay, if you go for flexi staking, it will show as the total stake value, right? Or flexi stake principal by account. Okay. Telegram link is here, Orizon underscore Defai. This is where you're able to see. So Telegram here. Okay. So once you're in there, I think you're able to look into it yourself. So one thing for sure is that if you want a previous recording of what we did on Tuesday, I'll be able to share it with you here as well, since I'm here. But for today's link, you will definitely need to look into Telegram itself. Okay, so just let me just share this recording with you of module one. So I hope everybody's able to see it. Okay, and when you say when this is business start, it started 1 year ago. We are on our close to the first anniversary already. All right. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. It has been quite an eventful Tuesday today, I would say. Now, remember, every Tuesdays we will have our new module training sessions. So next week itself, if you to come back on Tuesday, we will restart back module one, where I'll talk a little bit about wallets and security. So by then, if you have any friends or family that you want to bring in to show them a little bit about how to keep their wallet safe, that's the perfect time for you. Okay. So if you want to know more about our Orizon protocol, come on Thursdays. Thursdays, I will have my presentation. I'll run through the entire thing with you. Every single thing will be covered. All your questions will essentially be covered by then. Okay. So you do not need to worry about a single thing moving forward then. All right. So, like I mentioned to you earlier on as well, Saturdays itself, we'll have our presentations, but also provided with followed up by our sharing sessions that we essentially have by our great leaders. Okay, so do not miss out on that. All right. So I think with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'll wrap things up today. You all have a very lovely evening ahead, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Okay? Okay. Bye bye, ladies and gentlemen.